Good morning. How are you doing today? I know we have a lot going on in our country, in our lives. Yesterday I was reading a story about a woman who asked her pastor, Pastor, what do you do when you just can't find God? When things are really bad and you pray and it feels like you are talking to an empty chair. You read your Bible, but it's just words and it doesn't mean anything to you. I thought about that last night, and I wondered, have you ever had a time like that? When you felt as if God was distant, you've prayed and no answer comes. You think you're doing everything right, but you just don't feel God's presence with you. You wonder, does he see me? I hate to admit it, but I have. But I'm not alone. C.S. Lewis once wrote that when he prayed during his wife's illness, the doors to heaven seemed to have been double bolted. In Lamentations 3:18 we read, "My splendor is gone, and all that I had hoped from the Lord." It's a very sad statement, isn't it? But even some of the psalmists felt that way and wrote about times when God didn't seem to be anywhere near. In fact, in Psalm 22, David cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" It's the same words Jesus himself said as he hung, dying on the cross. You know, right now our world seems pretty dark, maybe even your own personal life. Maybe it's been like that for a while now. And the thing is, when your life, your everyday is surrounded by darkness, it's real easy to feel God's absence, to think God doesn't see you, hear you, care about you. But I want you to know, the darkness doesn't mean God's abandoned us. We just can't see what he's doing. See, Jesus is always doing something far bigger than we can see at the moment. And I have found that when I trust him, even when I can't see or feel him, well, that's when my faith grows. I guess maybe that's his plan. See, God could replace our fear in an instant, but instead, he often uses the darkness as a training ground for replacing our fear with faith, for getting us to learn to trust him and rely on him more than ourselves. See, we don't know what the circumstances are that we will face tomorrow. It might be okay, but it might not. Actually, Jesus doesn't promise us an easy life, but he does promise that every day is a new day, and that he's there with us to help us take the next step when we can't see it. But we have to be willing to do that, even when it's hard, even when it's dark, to focus not on what we can see, but on what we trust and believe God can do. See, the darkness of every night gives way to the light of day, always. And even though we know the new day doesn't necessarily promise to deliver us from our trials or failings, it is another day to decide to love, another day to surrender, another day to keep going, another day, as Lamentation says, to appreciate God's new mercies. See, the thing is, I want you to remember that God's love doesn't rescue us from life's pain. It strengthens us to endure it. Actually, that's what hope is. And hope is what we need when we feel like we have nothing else. So, what do you do when you can't find God? Do what the psalmist did. Cry out to him. Let him know how you feel and how much you need him, even if it's hard. Because in those moments when God seems absent and our plans fall apart, well, that's when we need to hold on tightest. So, ask him to help you remember his faithfulness and how good he's been to you before. Keep trusting in His unfailing love, and don't ever stop singing His praises. In fact, work on it if you have to. And then wait for the light, because it always comes. Now stay safe. Stay away from gatherings. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Today, make a point to look around and find a blessing. Know that I love you, that I'm praying for you. Never lose hope. We're going to make it. God bless you, and I'll see you soon. Peace.